All right. Well, Minnesota Wild lose last night 5-2 after that third period collapse. We get to see every night, it seems like, a legit superstar blossoming in front of our very own eyes in Kirill Kaprizov. When the lights were the brightest in the biggest game of his young career, all the guy does go out and score 2 power play goals early,
Hmm.
single-handedly, just trying to will his team to victory. But as Seth Topol said on last night's post-game reaction on Locked On Wild, it just seemed like the Wild couldn't find the Robin to their Batman in Kaprizov in the scoring department. I mean, the kid can only do so much until it's time for anyone to step up behind him and make a play. And the Wild, they've been unable to find that other option next to Kaprizov really this whole playoff series, it seems like. You sit back, you watch this kid, you can't help but just be mesmerized by not just the goals, but the effort, the determination he plays with, stick handling, the ability to create big plays with that strength and speed. But ultimately, it's a team game. It's unrealistic. It's unfair, really, to ask one guy as young as he is to do it all. And they just needed someone else to spark some life into the team. And they were just nowhere to be found last night. Head coach Dean Evason said after the game pretty bluntly, he said, hey, if we had 20 Kaprizovs, we'd never lose. But
Yeah.
we need more from other guys. It can't just be about him. So their Batman was dominant once again, gave him a chance to win, but the Wild never had anyone step up as Robin last night.
Man, that's tough.
It hurts. It
I
hurts.
remember yesterday in the first period, Kaprizov pretty much got backed into a corner,
Mm-hmm.
double teamed into the corner of the ice. And the dude, like, it's like he had eyes in the back of his head. Somehow he was able to get out of the double team and he gets the puck and passes it between his legs to Matt Zuccarello, and Matt's just missed it. Like he, it was like, you ever seen like when like Chris Paul or Luca or one of these guys, LeBron, just passes just this ridiculous like
No
no
look, like
look,
these
yeah, just like,
instincts,
yeah,
like
like
these, yeah.
the Magic Johnson, one of those. And then the guy that he passes it to just like airballs. You're just like,
Right.
dang,
Like not
like you,
expecting like when you're on the ice with a guy like Kaprizov, just like
yeah,
when you're on the court with those other guys, you have to be alert and expect something crazy or magical to happen at any point. You got to be ready because, like you said, you just never know when they're going to pull out something out of their hat, man. Those crazy
yeah,
instincts, like you mentioned.
and so when I saw that, and then there was a couple times where they had a legitimate chance to score, and
Hmm.
they shoot it over the net, or they shoot it to the left of the net, or to the
Hmm.
right of the net. And when I saw those things last night, I was just like, that's not a good sign.
No.
And then when Double K scored his first goal, I was like, okay, all right, okay, never mind. Tied it up. And then he scored again. I was just like, oh, shoot, it's about to be one of those nights. And then there was no more scoring after that. And it was just like, okay. And, we talked about how we were hoping that Kevin Fiala would kind of pick it up, you know, didn't last night. Like maybe we wrong to expect some goals from him? I feel like they powered up, built this team to win, and you're telling me that in a pivotal game 5 you can only score 2 goals, like, and it's only from Kaprizov, like that is tough. And then when you got the coach saying like if we had more Kaprizovs, we'd be in better shape. It's just like, dang, like that's an indictment on the team. Like where's Jeek?
Mm.
Where's Zuccarello? Where's Boldy? Where all these guys that are expected to be great complementary pieces to Kaprizov, like it's nowhere to be found, man. And that was, I think, the most disappointing part for last night, because I feel like the Wild had every reason to win that game last night and just let it slip away.
Yeah, the Wild, they're 4 for 19 on power plays. Kaprizov has scored 3 of them. I mean, Kaprizov, he also leads the NHL playoffs with 7 goals this postseason. Just a sign for things to come from him in the future. If they can find the right support around him, finally they put it all together, but they're just left grasping straws right now, saying who's going to be the other guy to step up. Worth noting, you mentioned Dean Evason. He said for losing that game the way they did, he thought the team's body language and attitude was in pretty good spirits. They feel like they're ready to go back to St. Louis Thursday, tie this thing back up, get back
They
to
better.
work. But when you look ahead to that game, is there any chance this is the time now to go to Cam Talbot in the net? Remember, the Blues, looking to get some new momentum and change up their luck, they decided to put in Jordan Bennington into the net game 4, and that obviously has worked out well for them. Do you think the Wild could look to copy the same philosophy, kind of shake things up after losing the last 2 games and allowing 10 goals collectively?
What do you have to lose? You know, I mean,
That's what I'm saying, right?
You got an elimination game now. Your back is against the wall.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you've tried Flower in net for the most of the series. I think it is a little scary to bring Cam Talbot just off the bench in this high stakes situation when he hasn't played all series long. I think that's kind of scary. And here's the thought. It's like, look, you do what you've done to get here. You know, don't go away from it now because, you know, things have gotten messed up. And it's just like, there are some people that may look at Flowers' performance and say like, oh, okay, it's not all on him. You know, it's not all on him. But there's others, you know, I posed the question on Twitter last night, who do the Wild start in net in game 6? Mm-hmm. And an overwhelming majority of people said you got to start Cam Talbot. And I'm just like, well, I don't know. I guess. But you know what? I will point out something. And maybe people don't want to hear this. But what did you just say before you asked that question? You said they were 4 for 19 on power play. That's one of the big issues right there. Like, they are not taking advantage of these power plays.
Oh, no doubt.
As they should. And that's been killing them even more than the goaltending, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. Because I think Flower has been good enough. You know, there are some that, you know, have gotten past them and all that stuff. And, you know, I got people in my mentions talking about he's washed and, you know, we're seeing the deterioration of him before our eyes. And I'm just like, I don't know if I would go that far. Like, the dude can still do his thing. Like, he's still a dude. We've seen it. I mean, just game 1, you know, all together, like, I understand they gave up 4 goals, but like, man, the dude has some incredible saves in that first game before they gave up those 4 goals. And
0 for 6 on the power play in game 1, too, to your point. 0 for 6.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not all on this goalie here.
It's not. But I will say, if you want to switch some things up, shake some things up, put some fire underneath the team, maybe you do go for a switch, because it's just like, you know, what do you have to lose at this point? And Cam Talbot has shown that he has, some would argue, been the better goaltender since Flower came along.
13-0-3 heading into the playoffs, but only a 15-15 postseason record. So we know, we talked about yesterday in depth. That's why they went out and got the veteran Fleury. How about
no time like the present to turn it around?
Like the present. How about this scenario? Let's just say they fling out Cam Talbot and they win game 6. Then what do you do in game 7?
Oh, you got to put him out there on game 7.
But, you know, devil's advocate, the people are going to rebuttal with, but that's why you went out and got Fleury for game 7 in the playoffs.
Yeah, that's nice.
That experience. But you're totally right. If Cam gets flung out in game 6 and they win it, how do you pull him at that point? I don't know if Vegas has the odds out right now. I'd just be very curious to see what the actual odds are right now. Is it Fleury or is it Cam Talbot? Wild are in do or die now as they head back to St. Louis Thursday in that must-win game 6. Puck drops tomorrow night, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard. Rest assured, Reggie and I will be here Friday to break it all down.